Well, there's one thing that my tree is missing. The star!
Hello and welcome to Jigsaw Shed. Now, I've not been in the workshop for a while to be able to get some turning content, but I decided I'll have a bit more for play with the new laser and see how that works. So obviously it's the Algolaser 5-watt DIY kit that they kindly sent me, and here I'm just using Fusion 360 to make a simple star design, as my Christmas tree has been lacking one for quite some time. So just making up a, as I say, simple design, getting the measurements, everything equal, and working on where I want the cuts to be, and then also drawing in some supporting arms that will help me to put it up in the tree itself. So I've made quite a few attempts at the design before filming it, as I was making a number of mistakes and kept missing certain details. But here I'm now just extrapolating the design to create the different elements of the star that will then be cut out. So 2 big sections that will add in together, and then 4 further sections to complete the star itself. And then I just drew out the size of the sheet that I will be cutting out from to consider what the layout should be in order to make all the cuts out of one sheet. Though this is a bit of sort of testing it out, and I will readjust slightly when I'm in Lightburn itself. So at this stage I realized I have not made little connectors that will just support the arms more, because otherwise they can be quite fragile. So just turning it upside down with 2 assembled pieces, I then drew out a couple of circles, and that will then become the rings that will fit around those legs. So then it's just including them into the design before then creating a sketch image of the faces. So I had to project the sketch onto all the faces to be able to then export it all as a DXF file, which then nicely exports into Lightburn for me to start the process of burning it. So I found that the best way for cutting 2mm ply was 4 passes at 10 speed and, or 0.10 speed and 100% power. So then I just set the laser to do its work, and it took about 48 minutes to cut out the whole design. So obviously it's sped up here. Now I have to say that I still have to sort out proper extraction for the laser. Obviously at this point I was just experimenting, but I had the French doors open next to the table, and I was standing there fanning it with a rather large pillow out the door, which worked, but my arms were rather tired by the end, and while I was doing this no one else was in the room with me as well. So I found this laser to work fairly accurately and cut out the files that came from a DXF design fairly well and accurately. However, when it came to other designs that I've done exported into SVG files from Affinity Designer, sometimes if I do multiple passes it will give a slight double line, so the pass will always be over those lines, but it's not quite clear as to why it would do it, and it was only in some instances whereas with the star there was no such issue. I think that I just still have to practice a lot more with it, get to understand some of the intricacies behind software and integrations with other programs as well. So here I'm just assembling the main structure of the star using O3 Adhesives Medium CA glue. It dried fairly quickly and I didn't have to wait too long between gluing each bit for it to hold. So for the sections that were gluing in between the main structure of the star, I needed to cut a little bit of an angle just so it could get closer in and that it gave a better gluing surface as well. So I just used the blade to cut a bit of a chamfer on each side. Now at this point I did find that it took a bit longer for the glue to hold it strongly enough for me to continue, so at some point you will see me getting the accelerator out to speed up that process, and I should have done that from the start because it worked really well. So at this point I still haven't got the accelerator, and I was sitting there waiting for the glue to dry and decided I will glue up a little dice that I made. Now the concept of the dice came from a video I watched of Jim Overton, Jim's and Stuff, where he said that whenever he tests out a new laser he will always make a dice as a cube. It has to be assembled fairly accurately with no gaps, and so I thought I'll give that a go and make my own dice. Now I used a box design soft or online program to make the size of the dice, and then in Lightburn I just added the little dots for the numbers as well. But it worked really well. The laser seemed very accurate on that, and yeah, gave a nice little dice. Not sure where that's gone. I gave it to the children to play with and it seems to have disappeared. So yeah, obviously here the using the accelerator, and it is just sped up the process so much quicker, and there we have a completed star.
Well, thank you for joining me in Jigsaw Shed. Now this video is out later than I intended it to be, and mainly because I've been working really hard at the beginning of the month and trying to make sure that everything's ready for Christmas, and we also took the girls to Disneyland Paris for a few days and only arrived back late last night. However, I did manage to get myself a nice big Groot mug as well. Now, I have not been in the workshop much recently, so need to get out there, get some turning done again. But for now, I've been playing more with the laser, trying to get more grip with this software and sort of making up my own designs as well. So I have created little Christmas baubles based on one that I experimented before, which was a design I found online. And then that was the 3mm ply that I printed, but that took a lot more work with the laser than 2mm ply does. But I then used Fusion 360 and Affinity Designer to make this design out of the 2mm ply, and then I also had a go at making a little lantern. So I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so had a lot of fun creating this, and I'm really pleased with the outcome. Some of the smaller details are quite tight, so it had to be a bit of a bigger shape than the initial one I experimented with, and I needed about 4 or 5 passes on the finer details that were designed in Affinity Designer. But overall, really pleased with this laser itself. For an entry level, it seems to work really well and adds a big scope to what I'm able to add to my channel itself and all this stuff I make. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so yet. But anyway, I would just like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Cheers.